Who was the first person to walk on the moon? Neil Armstrong. When is Moon Day celebrated? July 20. What date did Apollo 11 land on the moon? July 20, 1969. What were Neil Armstrong's famous words when he stepped onto the moon? A small step for man, a giant leap for mankind. How many astronauts were aboard Apollo 11? 3 astronauts, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. What was the name of the lunar module that landed on the moon? Eagle. Which astronaut stayed in orbit around the moon during the landing? Michael Collins. What country was the first to land a man on the moon? United States. How many times have humans landed on the moon as of 2025? 6 times. Which NASA mission first returned lunar rocks to Earth? Apollo 11. What is the surface of the moon mostly made of? Dust and rock. What causes the moon to shine at night? It reflects the sun's light. What is the shape of the moon's orbit around Earth? Oval. Which was the first country to send a spacecraft to the moon? The Soviet Union. What do we call the dark patches on the moon? Maria. What is a lunar eclipse? When Earth comes between the sun and the moon. What was the name of the rocket that launched Apollo 11? Saturn V. Which part of the moon landing mission brought the astronauts back to Earth? Command module. How many people have walked on the moon as of 2025? 12. What is the moon's gravity compared to Earth? About 1/6 of Earth. Why do astronauts appear to bounce when they walk on the moon? Because of low gravity. What is a blue moon? A rare second full moon in a single month. Which Indian mission aimed to explore the moon? Chandrayaan. What is the name of the Indian lander that successfully landed on the moon in 2023? Vikram. What is the time between 2 full moons called? Synodic month. What do we call a moon that is completely dark? New moon. Can sound be heard on the moon? No. There is no air for sound to travel through. What do we call the moon when it looks fully round? Full moon. What do we call the changing shapes of the moon? Moon phases. What is the name of the Indian moon rover in Chandrayaan 3? Pragyan. Who was the second man to walk on the moon? Buzz Aldrin. How long did the Apollo 11 astronauts stay on the moon? About 21 hours. What did astronauts leave on the moon? A flag and footprints. What is the name of the place where Apollo 11 landed on the moon? Sea of Tranquility. How long did it take Apollo 11 to reach the moon? 3 days. What is a hole or dent on the moon's surface called? Crater. What's the name of the Indian Space Agency? ISRO or ISRO. What is the study of moon called? Selenology. What is the average distance between the Earth and the moon? Approximately 384,400 kilometers. What is the name of the rocket made by SpaceX to help with moon mission? Starship. What is the name of NASA's program to send astronauts back to the moon? Artemis. Who is the first Indian astronaut to visit the International Space Station? Shubhanshu Shukla. Which is the first rocket launching station in India? Tumba in Thiruvananthapuram. Who is known as the father of Indian space program? Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. Which is India's only satellite launching center? Satish Dhawan Space Center. When was Chandrayaan 3 launched? July 14, 2023. What is the most giant crater on the moon called? The Bailey crater. How long does it take for the moon to go around the earth? About 27 days. Who were the other two astronauts on Apollo 11 besides Neil Armstrong? Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins. What is the name of the first spacecraft to land safely on the moon? Lunar 2. What is the name of India's successful 2023 moon mission? Chandrayaan 3. How long does it take light from the moon to reach Earth? About 1.3 seconds. Which space agency launched Apollo 11? NASA. What is the name of the first satellite to orbit the moon? Lunar 10. What was the name of the first spacecraft to orbit the moon from India? Chandrayaan 1. What is the name of the region where Chandrayaan 3 landed? The moon's south pole. How many sides of the moon can we see from Earth? One side, the near side. Who is the first Indian woman scientist to work on the moon mission? Muthaiya Vanitha. What is the moon called when it is growing in size? Waxing moon. What is the moon called when it is shrinking in size? Waning moon.